Hello survivors, generally most of you enjoy zombie survival games like 7 Days to Die, but you've looted that cracker book so often, the books are actually considering a restraining order. Your base is gorgeous, your turrets are singing, and your storage is bursting with, well, everything. But here you are, bored or tired, or just looking for something a bit different, but you want zombies. Hey, you like zombies. So I've crawled through the haunted attic of early access and some recently released games to find some of those that just may scratch that zombie survival itch. There are some great zombie survival titles out there, but they are not on this list owing to them having been released a very long time ago, or they've been in early access for ages. So, sorry Project Zomboid, you will not be on this list, even though you are really one of the greatest survival games ever, and neither will games like Shrouded or Valheim, as they are not really zombie survival games. Right, let's get into it.
With each day, we become more desperate. And we're forced to make unspeakable choices. Just to stay alive.
First up, we have Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days. Released into early access on April the 9th, 2025 by Pickpock. While looking into the games, I see the devs mainly have been in mobile games over the past decade, so this doesn't really bode well for my opinion of the game at the start. But Our Darkest Days seems to be quite a shift from their previous games. If you ever looked at 7 Days to Die and wanted a very different zombie survival game, then well, this is for you. The game takes place in the 1980s in Texas. You lead a group of desperate survivors scavenging for scraps in a side-scrolling nightmare. It's got the scavenging loop you love, but instead of building a voxel castle, you're frantically nailing boards to a window while zombies try to eat your face. The combat is a bit stiff, the tension is high, and if you mess up, well, that's it, everyone dies. It's like the game This War Is Mine, but with more shotguns and less depression. Highly recommended if you want to feel stress, but without the lag.
What can you tell me about the Baron?
He's a narcissistic sociopath. He's experimenting on humans like they're lab rats.
Next, we have a heavyweight champion, Dying Light, the Beast. Released in September 2025, this brings back Kyle Crane, who has apparently spent his vacation time mutating into a biological weapon. If 7 Days is about hunkering down, then this game is about running for your life. It ditches the base building for high-speed parkour and drop-kicking zombies off rooftops, which, to be honest, is probably the only physics interaction that matters. It's less about crafting a perfect base and more about unleashing your inner monster to tear through hordes. It's polished, it's pretty, and it's fully released with over 90% positive rating on Steam. If you're tired of hitting rocks with a pickaxe and just want to break some bones, then this is the one for you.
That fucker will pay for what he did to me. All the years he took from me. All the agony he put me through.
You want revenge?
Damn right I do!
Secure a spot for me on the escape helicopter from Andorna Island.
Number 3 is Night of the Dead. Imagine 7 Days to Die, but the Horde night happens literally every night. And the game was, well, made by people who really love tower defense games and, well, anime. You play as a survivor, and often a strangely well-groomed and clean survivor, mind you, trapped on an island where you have to build mazes of death. So what we're talking about here is giant pendulums, flamethrowers, and catapults. It can be a bit janky, but the recommendation is to buy it while it is on sale. It has that asset flip charm where nothing feels quite right, but for many, you just can't stop playing it, because watching 300 zombies get blended by a giant spinning blade is universally hilarious. If you think the trap system in 7 Days to Die is just too limited, then this game basically says to you, hey, hold my beer, and hands you a trebuchet. If you want to escalate things, check out The Front. This game asks the question, what if we took a survival crafting game, added some tanks, helicopters, and enough firepower to invade a small country? I think personally it's a weird mix of 7 Days to Die, Rust, and Battlefield. You're not just fighting zombies in this case, you're fighting weird mutants and soldiers while driving an APC that you actually built in your garage. It's got a bit of an identity crisis, I think, and it feels like 5 different games smashed together with a hammer. But the building is solid, and honestly, sometimes you just want to solve your zombie problem with a battle tank instead of a sledgehammer. It's chaotic, it's grand, and it is a glorious mess, but in a good way. Developed by 10 Tons, Dysmantle is a top-down, open-world RPG released fully in 2022. Yes, I know, I said only recent games, but I do think that this one needs a bit of shouting out, especially for those that are looking for a more relaxed apocalypse to deal with. Players can destroy most of the environment to harvest resources, and it holds nearly a 90% positive rating on Steam. For the loot goblins among you, Dysmantle understands one fundamental truth. Breaking stuff is fun. In 7 Days to Die, you spend a few minutes breaking your lockpicks on a safe while trying to open it. On the other hand, in Dysmantle, you level up your crowbar and smash the safe, the wall behind it, the house, and the fence outside. You can destroy most things for resources, and it is a game that ditches the hunger and thirst meters so that you can focus on turning an entire neighborhood into scrap metal. It's less about survival anxiety and more about the satisfaction of wiping civilization off the earth, one swing at a time. For me, it is incredibly addictive and surprisingly fun. HumanitZ is an isometric open-world survival game developed by Yodub Studios, released in early access in September 2023 with version 1 coming out this year. I was a tester for this game for a few months in the early part of the game and also did an early video promoting it. It has certainly come a hell of a long way since I played it. So, if Project Zomboid and Daisy had a baby that was then raised in Unreal Engine 5, well, it would probably look a bit like this. This open world survival game tries to bridge the gap between a hardcore simulation and arcade fun. You've got cars, you've got guns, farming, and enough crafting recipes to satisfy many of the crafters out there. The camera angle might take some getting used to if you're a first-person purist, but the loop is undeniable. You loot, you build, and try not to die. You do it all again and again. It's got a bit of a Zomboid light energy, but that means you just spend less time reading skill books and more time running over zombies with a pickup truck. I added Soviet survival straight after HumanitZ, as this game appears to be quite similar. It is set during the fall of the Soviet Union, but now there are zombies. It's an isometric open-world game that has that classic janky but charming early access vibe where you loot, ruin concrete blocks, and fight off the infected in the motherland. The reviews are surprisingly positive, but there are enough complaints to indicate I would not touch this game until it was less laggy, buggy, and missing a lot. It's gritty, it's grey, and it's perfect if you wanted your survival experience to feel less like an action movie and more like a historical documentary gone wrong. Give this another year before you see if it has progressed enough. I wish the developer good luck, and if he sticks with the project, it could be a great game.
Get up, everyone! Work's waiting!
To all survivors, seek others and rebuild.
Next is Infection-Free Zone. This is the only game where you can type in your actual home address and find out exactly how quickly you would die in a real apocalypse. It uses real-world map data, so you can literally turn your local Pizza Hut into a fortress, or watch your own house get overrun because you forgot to reinforce the back door. It plays like a frantic real-time strategy game where you command survivors to loot your neighbor's garage and the rest of the town or city for canned beans and other resources. The most recent version comes with larger maps, laws, lairs, better weapons, and a long story chapter. Dreadzone. This game is for those who look at the feral Hawaiian in 7 Days to Die and thought, you know what, this needs more nudity. And I'm not kidding, the Steam page explicitly warns about naked mutants because apparently the virus destroys clothing before it destroys the brain. It's a wave-based survival shooter set in a quarantine zone where you scavenge, you craft, and defend against enemies that are described as intensely violent. It does have mixed reviews because it is a bit rough around the edges, and I would probably give it a pause and wait for some time before buying it. But if you want to shoot zombies that are letting it all hang out, then, well, this is your ticket. But as I said, I would hold off on this title until much later. Switching gears, we have The Dead Await. This is a deck-building survival RPG. Instead of frantically clicking and aiming at heads, you are frantically shuffling cards to see if you have enough stamina to swing a crowbar. You manage a caravan of survivors traveling across the wasteland, dealing with sanity, hunger, and the realization that your healer just drew a panic card and is now useless. It's a nice change of pace if your reflexes are shot from too many horde knights and you just want to conquer the apocalypse one turn at a time. If you hate staying in one place, check out Survival Machine. This is basically Mortal Engines, the cozy edition. You build your entire base on top of a giant moving vehicle that looks like a bus on steroids. You travel through different colorful biomes, hopping off to loot and hopping back on before the sun goes down. It is single player but supports 4-player co-op, and so you and your friends can argue about who is driving the bus while the other 3 build walls on the roof. It's vibrant, it's chaotic, and it solves the problem of the zombies are at my door by simply driving the door away at 40 miles per hour. Zompiercer. You live on a train, you upgrade the train. You love the train. When you stop at stations to loot, you have to clear out the undead, grab the scrap and the crap, and run back to your locomotive before things get too hairy. It's a first-person shooter that really scratches that mobile base itch. There's something incredibly satisfying about sniping zombies from the roof of your own personal railway fortress while chugging along the tracks. If you ever wanted to play 7 Days to Die but wish the trader was a steam engine, then this is the one for you.
Pay attention. Every word I speak, every lesson I share.
Released in early access in October 2024, The Last Plague Blight is a procedurally generated, isometric survival game focused on uncompromising realism. You think about that and you go, oh no, this could be difficult. It introduces the blight, a disease mechanic, as a central feature alongside things like hunger and thirst. If you think 7 Days to Die is too easy, try The Last Plague Blight. The game hates you. I don't mean it's hard, I mean it personally wants you to suffer. I think the game is focused too much on realism and in trying to be immersive. So making a pickaxe or boiling water is actually like a triumph in human engineering. You aren't just fighting the infected, you're fighting disease, hunger, and your own incompetence. It is slow, methodical, and brutal. You'll spend 20 minutes making a bowl, and, well, you're going to be damn well proud of that bowl, which is probably one of the appeals of the game. You really do feel the accomplishment of crafting and discovering things. It's not for the faint of heart, but if you're the kind of person who enjoys a more realistic survival, then I recommend this misery simulator will make you feel right at home. No, seriously, it really is a good game. It really is. Take a look at it. For the loot addicts, there is Surroundead. Now don't let the low poly cartoon graphics fool you. This game is a hoarding simulator of the highest order. And I know many of you will still not care. You don't like the graphics, so I get it. That is fine. It plays like a mix of possibly Unturned and DayZ, but it is single player and focused entirely on filling your backpack with stuff. Yeah, sure, it's a bit janky, but it has a ton of heart. You get vehicles, safe zones, traders, and a backpack system that will trigger your Tetris instincts. It's not too frantic, and it's quite relaxed, so you can turn it on, drive around, shoot some blocky zombies, and then organize your stash for 3 hours. It's simple, it's cheap, and it scratches that looting itch better than many AAA games. I think many would see this one coming. This game just hit early access in late October, and players have been calling it for a very long time the first-person Project Zomboid for a reason. It is deep. You aren't just punching trees here. You're hot-wiring cars, changing tires manually, barricading individual windows, and managing a character that feels like a human being rather than a floating camera. It's a multiplayer or single-player sandbox that respects your intelligence. You want to survive? Well, you need to scavenge, you need to maintain your gear and fortify existing buildings. The attention to detail is pretty insane. You can interact with many items in the game, from light switches to glove compartments. It's immersive, and to me, it looks as one of the best co-op zombie survival experiences that you can get. You can certainly purchase it now, but as much as I am dying to play it, I'm holding off as there is still a lot to be fixed and added to the game. But for many, they are loving the game so far. So, while you wait for the hopeful December 7 Days to Die patch to release, possibly give Vane a try. Just be careful, Vane doesn't appear to just be a waiting room, it just may become your new home. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.